All right, Sid 6-0, he's smiling now. He's over the gardener now.
Angers me this weekend. You know what doesn't anger me is watching the Olympics 24/7 on my couch. Absolutely love it. Opening ceremony 2 weeks from today. But as we know, the situation in Japan is not exactly simple. A state of emergency goes into effect on Monday. The vaccination rates are low. Fans will not be allowed to attend these Olympics. There's a lot going on. Marnie McBean is not only a three-time Olympic gold medalist for this country. She is the chef de mission for this Olympics. To the layperson, that is the CEO of our team. She is the boss, and she is joining us this morning here on Breakfast Television. Marnie, good morning. Welcome to BT.
Morning.
Yeah. Good morning to you.
Marnie, we'll get to the there are a lot of positives with this team. It's always great to see Olympians have their dreams come true, especially new Olympians. We must address the large elephant in the room here, and I love the Olympics as much as anyone, and I remember Canada a year ago in March being the leader in saying, look, this can't happen now in Japan. We got to wait. The situation has improved marginally in that country. Why is the Canadian Olympic Committee more comfortable this year than a year ago, would you say?
Well, it's a great question. I feel we've heard so many people say that. Well, that's a great question. Thank you. What we know now is a lot more about the COVID-19. We know how it's transmitted. We know how that masking and social distancing is going to help us. But we also have a vaccine. So that's the first thing we know is that while vaccine uptake in Tokyo and Japan is still low, the population of athletes and the people going to the Olympics who will be vaccinated, we expect that to be somewhere between 70 and even 90% of the people participating in the Olympics to have one, if not both shots. All of the procedures, the COVID protocols that are going to be taking the athletes of the world, and particularly Canada even has a higher threshold of all the things that we're going to do to keep our team safe going in. All the protocols are going to keep us not only from bringing the virus into Japan, but we're not going to be interacting with the people of Tokyo. So when they're talking about the state of emergency and no fans in the stands, which is really disappointing, that is controlling spread in Japan. And almost, it's kind of weird, as much as the Olympic Games are in Tokyo, they're in this kind of like sealed, sometimes I talk about it, it's kind of like this gerbil zone where there's the Olympic Village and then there's all the Olympic transport. We're not allowed to use the bullet trains. We're not allowed to use public transport. We're not allowed to go to the restaurants and the bars and stuff like that. We're not milling about with people on the streets. So we're going to be in the venues that you're showing. That's just going to be us. And like you said, everyone's going to have their Olympic experience watching on their couch, which is going to be completely the same.
Marnie, can you elaborate a little bit more on protocol? You mentioned, so yes, they're not going to be necessarily with Tokyo residents, but they will be intermingling in some capacity with some of the athletes from different countries. So what do those bubbles look like, and what do living quarters look like? How does that all play out, and is there testing also being done on site?
We're going to get a lot of testing.
I know, I'm sorry, there's a lot, yeah.
Yeah, some sore nostrils.
We're going to get a lot of testing, but athletes have been doing this for the last year. There have been back to sport and back to competition, I think the stat came out in May, and it was like 50,000 athletes had been to over 500 competitions, and there hadn't been a super spreader event. So athletes have been figuring out the testing and the protocols, keep wearing masks. If anybody watched any of the swimming nationals, the trials that were held recently, even on the pool deck, athletes had pools on. One of the ways we're also the IOC and Canada is controlling spread is by volume of people. And by that, so athletes can only come to the Olympics 5 days before they start competing. And within 24 to 48 hours of them being eliminated, and I like to say like eliminated is top of the podium also, when they finish competing, they have to go home. So there's no milling about. One of the things that does is that's going to keep the population in the Olympic Village much smaller, so there's no crowding. It's usually a pretty big city, as much as it's for 10,000 people. It's a fairly large footprint of a place to be. So there's going to be that. One of the things the Canadian Olympic team have done is normally we have this really cool place that you get to go and hang out, the athletes lounge, and you get to watch all the sports together in that kind of environment. We have no indoor athlete lounges. We've given all of the athletes TVs and mini fridges kind of in their rooms, so that they don't need to come and gather with us, which we're going to miss, but we're going to, we still get to communicate through Zoom and through videos and stuff like that to our team. And they're coming very focused on their work. They got 5 days to arrive, get ready for the biggest moment in their life. They got to focus on that. And then we're going to send them home. And now, since they'll be double vaxxed, they'll have to have a test before they can come back into the Canadian environment. But they'll get to celebrate with their family back here in Canada.
Marnie McBean is a 3-time Olympic gold medalist for this country. She's the chef de mission for Canada's entry in the Tokyo Games. Opening ceremony 2 weeks from today. Marnie, nothing but health to you and the entire team over there. Stay safe. We'll be watching, and we'll talk to you soon. Thank you.
Go Canada, go.
Go Canada.
Go Canada.
Awesome.
Thank you, Marnie.
Good to hear all of that protocol, right? Because you don't necessarily hear those specifics, and it's nice that they're keeping our team safe as much as they can.
No doubt, no doubt. All right, the weather. You never feel safe with the weather right now. You don't know what's going to happen. Frankie, what's going on right now?